Good afternoon, everyone. It is 2 o'clock, but we do not yet have our fourth commissioner, so we're going to give it a few more minutes, and that way we'll have a quorum. No. We do now. Okay. A reminder to the commissioners, unmute yourselves and state your name when you're speaking. Also, for voting today on any measure or action, we will be using the touchscreen. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to call to order the January 16th, 2024 Senior Citizen Commission meeting at 2:01 p.m. Did we do our roll call? Oops.
Let the record show that all commissioners are present with the exception of Commissioners Angel and Martin.
Okay. I would like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, that brings us to item 4 of our agenda, special presentations and proclamations. Today we have Israel Hernandez, the Associate Director for Advocacy and Community Engagement from AARP California, and he's going to talk to us about livable communities and the age-friendly network. Welcome.
Having me. Testing, okay. And I will just use this to click through the slides, I presume? Okay, great.
Okay. Or do you have the capability there?
I don't think so. That's all right. If you don't mind, I'll let you know.
I can go ahead and click through for you.
Okay, well, good afternoon, commissioners and all other attendees. I'm really happy to be here to present to you. I actually just learned from Lambert that you've gotten some information about the Age-Friendly Network a number of years ago, and this will be something of an update. There's a lot of information, but I'll try to compress it into my allotted time. For those of you, just in general, many of you may or may not know about the expansive work ARP does. I always get in community, oh, you guys do insurance, right? It has nothing to do with what I do. I do more the local advocacy side, community engagement, and livable communities work, which we're going to talk about today. So first off, what I typically ask people to do, but in the interest of time, just kind of ruminate on it as I go through. What is a livable community to you? It's not a buzzword that I say in community to emote good feelings, but really it is a tangible thing that together we can advocate for, and I'll talk about how. Next slide, please. So ARP is not the authority of livable communities or the definition, but this is our definition. It's one where you can all feel safe and secure first and foremost. It offers you choices of the amenities you want to live. I looked at the website, the Encinitas website with some of the resources already, seeing some of the transportation options and services, as well as some of the services your senior center provides. Those are examples of the type of amenities, that and more, that truly would make a livable community. Additionally, it's one that equitably serves everyone, as well as all ages. That's something that I'm always hammering away and beating the drum in community. It's not just for older adults. That's why I'm here. In this role, my background was in psychology and case management, and I found that oftentimes the older adult clients I don't want to say we're not as aptly served, but it seemed to be a different part of the human experience that not everyone pays as much credence to as other parts. So that's why I'm in this role. That's why I believe in this work. And so it's for all ages, all races, and all economic positions. Next slide, please. We can skip the video. I'm speaking to most of this.
AARP is
Thank you. So there's a call to action for this and somewhat of an urgency. If you follow the numbers, UN reporting, and other things, you'll know that our older adult population is rapidly increasing to the point where fairly soon, 1 in 4 people will be what meets the World Health Organization criteria for an older adult. That number can change based on who's providing the data. But as you can see on the screen, by 2060, 1 in 4 in the US. That's unprecedented and something we haven't experienced before. And that's not to scare anyone, but it is to say that we need to make sure that our health, transportation, outdoor spaces are accessible, that we're actually preparing for this influx. We're gonna have to approach many aspects of how we provide amenities and services to our communities differently, given this demographic shift. And we're living a lot longer as well because of medical advances. Because of this information, and because particularly in California, our societies have been built, our communities have been built in a very car-centric, single-family home way, it's left us with some opportunities for improvement. And if you go to the next slide, I'll kind of just call some of these out. So rapid land conversion, right? Building a lot of homes in an area. Are we ensuring that we're taking in the voices of older adults and their families when we're doing this? Kind of looking at homelessness as another trend. Looking now at the availability and affordability of housing. Older adults are the fastest growing demographic of people experiencing homelessness. And oftentimes it's not because of drugs or alcohol abuse, and that's what the data is showing. And there's reports I can reference at the end if anyone is interested. But increased demand for energy, growing carbon emissions, longer and more costly commutes as a result of commuting to work, increased social isolation. This one's of particular interest to me. How you build the walkability of your neighborhoods, the amenities, even down to the lighting, will largely impact how people isolate. And another report that I don't enjoy sharing, but it's important to mention, is that a recent AARP report found that older adult men are committing the most suicide of any group committing suicide. It's men over 60, and particularly by firearm. So a little grim, but highlighting the urgency and making sure that we're doing everything in our power to keep people from self-isolating. And then some other notes here. Next slide, please. So I've kind of highlighted the call to action, the work that can be done. So what is AARP's role? Back in 2016, when the World Health Organization released this report essentially saying, we're gonna see a major demographic shift. Here are some of the implications of that shift. They put out a program called, a framework, so to speak, called the Age-Friendly Network and Livable Communities. And what that is it highlights the 8 domains here that you're seeing, which really encompass any part of any community. Every community has amenities and services that fall within these 8 domains. And they fall, as you can see, in the built environment, which are things like housing, parks, outdoor spaces, and then the social environment, which are some of the more intangibles I was talking about. Reducing isolation, making sure that older adults are actively engaged in the civic engagement process, and things such as that. So our role, our overarching work is livable communities. So we do livable communities work in every community, regardless if they're a part of the age-friendly network. So that's the umbrella. But the age-friendly network itself is a program where a community says, after first submitting a letter of intent, and then the highest elected official in that jurisdiction saying, I will make this commitment, you actually commit to creating an action plan that will fold into existing plans for older adults. Now, some pain points and some early questions when I engage a community are, that's work, right? And it is. And a jurisdiction does have to be the one to own that work. AARP serves largely in an advisory role. We show up at listening sessions. We provide frameworks. We're there every step of the way. But truly, it is important to mention a jurisdiction does carry that work forward, and sometimes they do that through bringing on an additional staff. Sometimes they house it in Parks and Rec. Every jurisdiction approaches it differently based on their needs, but it is a cycle as well. So after you complete a 5-year cycle, and if you go to the next slide, please. One more, I'll speak to that a bit later. But anyhow, so that's in general the enrollment cycle. First, there has to be some type of coalition, and that's just a broad term. There has to be a group that understands the process, and that's a group that I would engage with regularly and share resources, help you keep along track with the program. But really, it's community-driven. The process at large involves listening sessions throughout your community where you think the need is greatest, a survey that we can help you design that goes out to all AARP members in a jurisdiction, as well as action planning sessions where you actually start to look at what type of tangible things do we want to improve. And some examples would be, even we're working with the city of Imperial Beach right now, and something that they did in the middle of their process was a lot of older adults had said, you know, city council meetings and some of the ad hoc committee groups, there's not a lot of good signage to get there. And for new people, they get discouraged. They show up, they're excited to participate in the civic process, and then they think, nope, I'm gonna go home. I'm just not gonna do it. And they found out that there's actually a sizable group of people who, whether it was parking or finding the chambers, were having issues. So as part of their plan, they improved signage, and the feedback was really positive. One small example, other people expand their transportation programs. There's a number of things, but one pain point often in addition to the work is scope. You know, in talking with some jurisdictions, they see housing as one of the domains and they think we're not building housing overnight and we don't want to set that expectation. I agree, but you could use it as a good opportunity to learn from the community through the listening sessions and the surveys of exactly what their expectations or their needs are with housing. So the final, one of the core pieces that you can see there is the development of the action plan. You can do that in year 1 or year 2. Again, jurisdictions approach it differently, but the goal is that you're doing it with community. So once you have the draft of your plan, you hold a community listening session and say, here's what we've developed, what are your thoughts? And you move forward there. Next slide, please. I know a lot of diagrams and frames here, and that's, again, part of my role for jurisdictions that do enroll, is I kind of help them through this process. But in short, the key steps there, I've already spoken to some of them. The member assessment, so we'll survey both community members who may or may not be AARP members, as well as AARP members, and then hold a number of listening sessions, action planning sessions. And this year, actually, for the first year since the pandemic, AARP is gonna bring back what's called the Age Friendly Expo. It's a fun event, but really the idea is we're gonna hold it in North County, where we bring together staff from across the state who are doing this work, and we go through each domain and kind of highlight the technical support and resources we offer. So probably getting ahead of myself, but in the event that City of Encinitas is interested and would want to learn more, that's an ideal opportunity to come and actually hear about the tangible outcomes people are having throughout the state. Next slide, please. It's a list of some of the benefits that are provided with being a member of the Age Friendly Network. I do have to say, like 80% of our resources with AARP are free, and they're just online at the Livability Library. I have some material I can share so you can peruse that yourself. But here's just some added benefits. We provide an organizing structure. You could tell I'm talking about kind of a robust program, but really having done this a number of times with different jurisdictions and having a lot of support from colleagues and technical experts that can come in, we're well positioned to help a jurisdiction get through this process. Additionally, yeah, no, that's good actually. And then just there's many outcomes I could go on, but in the interest of time, just put some up there as well for the feedback we get after working with jurisdictions on their age-friendly plan. And then next slide, please. Just a note, you know, after looking at, again, I was mentioning before some of the resources online, Encinitas seems to be in a great place to build on strength when it comes to older adults. You're already offering a number of services that fall into the domains. And, you know, sometimes when I talk to jurisdictions, they'll say, we're already doing X, Y, and Z for older adults. That has been the response I've gotten sometimes. And I said, that's fantastic. And you can always do more. You can always do more. And it doesn't have to be some overhaul. It could just be looking at what you're doing at that time, getting some feedback and modifying it based on a wide swath of feedback from your community. And then the last thing I want to share, next slide please, is we just opened our AARP Community Challenge Grant. This is open to jurisdictions, 501c3s. One more slide, please. And the goal of this was, not every city does have the bandwidth or the capacity, or it may not be their time to do the age-friendly network process, but we really want to ensure that if someone has a really good idea, a roadway improvement, improving a crosswalk, painting an intersection, placemaking, anything like this, that's why we launched years ago the ARP Challenge Grant Program. One was recently accepted in the city of San Diego in the 2023 cycle to do a community garden at what used to be a dirt lot that kind of was attractive to crime and just sat there. Another really cool project that was done was in City Heights for the Somali population in Africa, particularly in Somalia. There's meeting spaces that are communal. You call it their Starbucks, if you will, but there's a place where everyone goes and runs into each other. And in City Heights, we built out an intersection with games aligned with that community and tables with art that made them feel at home. So it's community specific. One more slide, please. That may be the only one I put in. So there's 3 types of grants. I won't go over all of them now so that I can turn it over to you all for questions, but there's the flagship grants. This is our original grant, and I'll send more information to everyone so you can kind of see what the prerequisites are. We're also hosting a seminar in a couple weeks where you can just do a Q&A. So if anyone wants to send staff or attend themselves just to learn more, that's probably the most ideal place to go get more information. Next slide, please. Capacity building micro grants. These other 2 grants are new. We realized, not everyone has a $15,000 project. Sometimes someone just wants to buy boxes for their community garden. They need the last step to push a project forward. So just some examples here. Walk audits are something I'm working a lot with a number of communities on, and that is surveying the walkability of their community. We have a toolkit for that. So I'm meeting with a lot of community associations to pass those tools along. That's something I could do with Encinitas, regardless of if they join the age-friendly network. Next slide, please. And then just the last grant type there, but just consider this more of an overview. I can send more information so you can really dig in a bit more. Next slide, please. And I've already spoken to this as well. Next slide. Okay, and then if you've got your cell phone and you want to snap the QR code, otherwise I brought some printed material. I'm happy to share that as well. But that will conclude my presentation and turn it over for questions.
I just wanted to thank you so much for joining us and giving us this information because it's both motivating and practical. And what I kept thinking while you were talking was that we're just starting a village Encinitas, and the whole idea of the village is so similar to the kinds of things that you're doing with the entire city. Everything sort of meshes together with the governor's plan for aging and the villages and the age-friendly communities. It's something that's really exciting to me, and I hope that we can be a part of it. So thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. First question, can I get a copy some of the slides?
Of course.
And the second question is, one of the slides says it's an 86% overcome barriers. Define barriers for me, please.
Of course. So one barrier I shared the example of with barrier to access in the civic engagement process for Imperial Beach. Another one, I would say the number one barrier that I'm hearing about that at the listening sessions that communities are working to address is the isolation and transportation piece. That just seems to be coming up. We live in such a beautiful place. My family lives in Oceanside. I live in San Carlos, right? So I need to drive I've become normalized to 50-minute drives to see them. I'm in a position where I can afford the gas and I can do those things and I have the car. Many people are not. So I would say those barriers are ones that I've seen, like with Oceanside, for example. They're not a member of the Age-Friendly Network yet. We're talking with them, but they are looking to reduce that barrier with Oceanside Go microtransit, and the city of Chula Vista as well has, it's through Circuit. Circuit is the provider. They have those small, I believe they're clean energy microtransit vehicles. They have a senior-specific program in Chula Vista. It is geo-fenced around the coastal region, but that's where a lot of the more fun things to do are. And so based on community feedback from, we get a lot of people together. We get 40 older adults from all different parts of Chula Vista who are saying, this is what we want to see. I will stay home if I don't have an option to go out, and that compounds over time. So those are a couple examples, and I can provide more.
Thank you, that's
Yeah.
perfect. And again, thank you, very insightful. And I think we're all still thinking about the concept of isolation, and transportation is one of those. Thank you.
Of course.
So I don't know if you noticed, we all kind of perked up when you started talking about the AARP Community Challenge and the associated grants.
Did notice.
But one of the reasons is we're always looking for opportunities to improve, make improvements to the community. And we recognize, as well as you do, that it's not just about the senior population, the senior community, but it's about age-friendly in general, including our youth. We partner up with the Youth Commission on a number of programs, and one of the things we've been working on is a proposal for an intergenerational garden. So, I have two parts of this, well, two questions for you. One is, I think there's this feeling that because AARP is at a national level and so broad, that it may be a little bit of a challenge for some of us, like City of Encinitas, or the 501c3s in the City of Encinitas, to apply for AARP grants. Is that, it seems like we're like
It's a fairly
a small drop in a,
It's a fair assessment as far as that it's competitive. It is a competitive grant. I do think that people who attend the Q&As, and even, there's things, obviously I can't say, hey, Encinitas has the best proposal ever, make sure you look at it, but I can give you all the tools and make sure you get to the webinar, send you formerly successful grant applications, and help you put your best foot forward for the grant. I think what's also in your favor is there's 3 types of grants now. There's 3, just because we had so many applications, and we do want to approve the many that align with the Livable Communities work, because there's many good ones that don't. I can tell you we really like community gardens right now. That's what I could say.
That's good to know.
We're really into that. Yeah, and particularly the intergenerational piece. And the more, we can talk more offline about this, but the more the plan outlines the intergenerational piece and the continuity and sustainability of the project, it has a much stronger chance.
okay. And my second question is, we actually talked briefly before the meeting began, and I had mentioned that in terms of age-friendly communities, San Diego County is on board. Carlsbad, not too long ago, signed up for this, but the City of Encinitas, not yet. And you had mentioned you understand some of the stress points that are preventing that from happening right now.
It's almost, yes, it's almost always bandwidth and capacity and expectations. I try to address, and sometimes it's not the right time for a jurisdiction given what they've got going on, but I do stress that. That's why I stress the piece that a jurisdiction would have to own the work, right? Mm-hmm. Because there are consultants in this space too, and we work well with them. San Diego State's Social Policy Institute, they are consultants in this space. They're great, but they put you on a 1-year timeline, and so there's benefits to that. You get a plan in a year, and we're also there to support. It looks different with how you approach it, but bandwidth, I would say, is the #1 pain point, and you're in a City of Encinitas in a good position because there's community members here. You have a senior commission. A lot of jurisdictions I approach don't have that. I'm just talking to the Parks and Rec director, and he might say, let's talk again next year, and that's okay. It's probably what's supposed to happen, but that's the #1 pain point is bandwidth and then funding. But there are grants available as well for that, which I can send you information on.
Okay. Great. Is the information about the Q&A sessions, is that available on the website, or?
I'll email that right after this to all the commissioners, or to to Christy.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. We'll do that. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Okay, terrific. Any other questions, comments?
Oh, I'm Maureen, Commissioner Farley, and thank you very much for your information. It was really insightful and helpful. You had mentioned the Age-Friendly Expo. Has that been scheduled, or do you have a date for that?
No, I just got prior to walking in here, I just took a meeting from the coffee shop across the street, and it was the ideation session for that. So I'm expecting it'll be April or May.
Okay. And so would we just kind of check in with you to see when that's going to happen so that we can?
Yeah, I plan to continue following up. Like if Encinitas doesn't join the age-friendly network, there's still some good programming we could do here. So I plan to keep the conversation going, but I'll definitely keep you posted on the expo.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And I see we have Deanna and Renee from the Encinitas Branch Library here to talk to us. Welcome back.
Thank you. So yes, here we are again with some updates for programmings and services and interaction with sister branches. And
I'm Renee Hansen, the Adult Services Librarian at the Encinitas Library.
okay, I'm Diana Minucci, the branch librarian, and the librarian team also includes the outreach librarian and the youth services librarian. And the way this presentation started is because very recently one of the senior citizen commissioners stopped at Encinitas at the reference desk, and she said that she would like to hear about the 24/7 kiosk and interaction with Cardiff Friends of the Library. So we would like to give you an update. So, updates on programs and services. Lastly, we have introduced kids coding. So we had one session in December, and it will be once a month. We're always piloting our programming, and kids coding was offered by the youth services commissioners. Then 3D printing, we continue with service. 3D printing, customers may bring their files, their USVs for any objects that they would like to design, print in 3D. And now we have started classes. So 3D printing classes, we had one in early January, and there will be two more, January 22nd and January 29th. Those at 3 p.m. on Mondays. And again, we are piloting. And we hope that we can continue this with these classes. Then we have the early learning programs with Baby Sign and Play and Doggy Tales and Chimes, which is concerts by UCSD, and story times and concerts in general for children. We are also planning local author showcase, and Renee will let you know more about it because she is involved with this program. But basically, it will be Sunday, March 17th at 3 p.m. It will take place in the community room, and there will be tables, and there will be book signing. The authors will speak about their books. They will be able to sell their books. We are starting conversational French for advanced speakers. In the past, we had French conversation and Spanish conversation. So it was popular until the pandemic hit, and so we are starting French conversation in February. Again, we are piloting. And then we'll try to have a Spanish conversation. We are still working with LOBAC, which is a nonprofit that teaches English as a second language. So that's another program we're very interested in resuming. And also homework help for children, grades 3rd to 10th. So we are working with volunteers. We have 2 prospective volunteers who can take care of that program. As for services, I would like to announce that AARP, Tax Help, will start in February. So February 2nd, which is Fridays, they will come to the library, and they suggest that people make appointments, and they will be offering tax help for free preparation. And then Renee will talk about the 24/7 kiosk, which is an alternative to the branches. And our 24/7 is, for those people who don't know yet, it's by or at the San Diego Credit Union at the corner of El Camino Real and Garden View. And it offers alternative and after hours to our branch hours.
Okay, next slide. All right, so Encinitas has a 24/7 library to go. It's an electronic machine, almost like a vending machine, where citizens of Encinitas can get library materials. And we do have a video of kind of the opening day of the kiosk, and the video will really kind of show and demonstrate what this machine does. So if we could get that video going, that would be wonderful.
This is a mini library. It's our 5th one that the county library has introduced. And the goal of the library to go is when folks are busy doing their day and they cannot come into the library for some reading material or an opportunity to learn, we have these kiosks throughout the county so that it's another place where they can go get library reading materials. This is part of our effort to bring the library closer to where people are.
When we talk about a county that works for all, when we talk about making the county more efficient and more effective for citizens, this is a small but powerful example of what this promise looks like in action. This is the first library kiosk in District 3, and as your new county supervisor, I look forward to seeing more options like these in more places, making it easier for people across our region to access these educational resources.
We're absolutely thrilled to host this new library kiosk right here. So this is something that's been in the making for 6 years, and we know in Encinitas that we have 2 world-class libraries already. So the Cardiff Library and the Encinitas Library are tremendous magnets, and they're beautiful facilities. They provide so much information to people. And here we are expanding what we are offering to our community by having this kiosk right here along our El Camino Real corridor.
Thank you. All right, in the next slides, we'll go into more detail about the kiosk.
Bloating, gas, and even weight gain. Avoid. Number 2, you're eating nuts that aren't nuts. Everybody knows that.
So Encinitas Kiosk is one of the 5 kiosks in the county. The other 4 are, one is in Chula Vista, the other one is in Bonsal, another one in Jacamba Campo, and the other one at headquarters. And it played a very key function during the pandemic because it gave an opportunity for customers to choose and pick up their items. So it basically provides materials and hotspot from 5 a.m. to 12 a.m. And you can also place holds.
All right, so next slide. What is the 24/7 library to go? It provides browsing, checkout, return, renewal of books and movies. As Yana stated, Wi-Fi is available. It provides hundreds of popular titles. It is very much like browsing our Hot Right Now collection. If you're familiar with that when you first walk into the Encinitas Library, it's a collection of very popular books, oftentimes on the New York Times bestsellers, oftentimes with a waiting list on it. But we do have lots of these materials that are currently just available in the kiosk. Some examples are the Heaven and Earth grocery store has a very long wait, but there is a copy in the kiosk that's available and you don't have to be on the waiting list for it. Also, Grisham's newest book, the sequel to The Firm, it's called The Exchange. It's very popular right now, and it's available in the kiosk without having to be on the waiting list for it. You can access our catalog and databases, and lastly, at any one time, there are about 340 items in the kiosk. 1/3 of them are visitable at a time. You may have noticed in the video that there's some rotating going on there, so lots of titles to browse through with that.
And the other question that we got from one of the commissioners who visited the library was how branches in the coastal region collaborate. So we directly collaborate with Cardiff and with Solana Beach and Del Mar, and Rancho Santa Fe is not coastal, it's a little inland, but we also have high collaboration. There is staff support for when we are short on staff. Somebody will come or go to the branches to so that we can avoid closures or we can avoid offering just door-side service model. Services are the same, but at different hours, and Renee will talk about that. Partners may be similar, may be different. Friends of the library, groups from one branch and the other one collaborate, and programs may be same, may be similar, may be different.
Okay. So some ways that we collaborate. Well, one way is we are both part of the county system. So if you get a library card at Encinitas, it could be used at Cardiff, or if you got your card at Cardiff, it can be used at the Encinitas Library. Also, each branch tailors its program to its specific community demographics. We have another slide coming up with more information on that. Also, we have slightly different hours. Of course, at Encinitas, we are open every day, so customers who live in Cardiff can come over and use Encinitas Library on Sundays and Mondays when Cardiff is closed. Additionally, Cardiff is open on Wednesday mornings, and we open later on Wednesdays, so Encinitas customers can utilize Cardiff if they need to in that case. Yep. Next slide.
And so another way to collaborate is with programs. For more information on programs at different branches, you can visit the catalog, stcl.org, where you can browse all the events at different branches. And here there is a comparison between programs offered in Encinitas and offered in Cardiff. For example, Cardiff has a weekly Alcoholics Anonymous group meeting, and Encinitas doesn't offer that, but offers SMART, which is self-management and recovery training. And Cardiff offers movie matinees, and at Encinitas we don't have that, but we have concerts by the Friends of the Library, it's the first Sundays, and concerts by the city, which is the Wednesday noon concerts. Also, Cardiff is offering the English Conversation Cafe, which is part of ESL. We used to offer that in Encinitas years ago. Now we don't, but we are bringing French conversation and pretty soon Spanish conversation. So we always collaborate on or across programmings.
Okay. So another way we collaborate is either working with similar partners or with different partners. For example, Homelessness Solutions came in and gave a training at the Encinitas Library, and Del Mar staff came and attended as well. Another example are Encinitas Library working with the city and putting on great programs like Art Night and attending the street fair. And during those big programs, staff members from Cardiff and Del Mar came and helped us so we could have enough coverage to take care of those large programs. And speaking of Art Night, the next Art Night coming up is Saturday, March 9th. Lastly, we do communicate about customer incidents. We do share a lot of the same customers here on the coast, so we're always collaborating and communicating with potential issues with customers about customer incidents.
Yes. So if you have any questions, you can ask us now, or you can email us, or you can visit the branch.
Commissioner Koblenz, once again, thank you for your information that is just brimming, overflowing with information. Quick question, who did the homelessness solutions workshop?
I think it was a group called Exodus. I think they're fairly new.
Thank you.
Any other questions for? No? Thank you, Deanna and Renee.
You're welcome.
It's good to see you again.
Thank you for having us over.
Okay, that brings us to item 5 on our agenda, oral communications. Do we have any speakers from the community today?
There are no speakers for oral communications.
Okay. Are there any changes to the agenda today?
There are none.
Okay, that brings us to agenda item 7, approval of the minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the November 21st, 2023 meeting minutes?
This is Commissioner Hanwett. I make a motion to approve the November 21st, 2023 meeting minutes of the Encinitas Senior Citizens Commission.
Okay. Commissioner Hanwood has made a motion to approve. Do I hear a second to this motion?
Commissioner Koblenz to approve the November 21st, 2023 meeting minutes.
Commissioner Koblenz has seconded the motion. Let's go to touchscreen voting.
Let the record show that the motion passes unanimously with all commissioners voting yes, except Commissioner Angel and Martin, who are absent.
Thank you. Okay, we are at agenda item 8, action items. 8A, Senior Citizen Commission Annual Work Plan. So let's walk one at a time through the work plan items and see if we have any updates. We'll start with item 1. Attend city-sponsored and city-partnered local community events, serving as city ambassadors. So there were a few of us who were at the holiday parade. That was a lot of fun. I think from my perspective, at least, it seemed, just from parking, it seemed a lot busier. And I also noticed there seemed to be a lot more participants in the parade as well. I just know that when we got out, there was still a very, very long line of people who had not even gotten out to Coast Highway yet. So that was fun. Anything else?
This is Manager Goodsell. I just wanted to mention that the Health and Wellness Expo is coming up at the Encinitas Community and Senior Center. It's hosted by the Encinitas Chamber of Commerce in partnership with the City of Encinitas, and that is going to be held on Saturday, February 10th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you're interested in volunteering to man the city table, please send me an email with your availability. We'll probably do 2-hour shifts, so we'll have a 10 to 12 shift and a 12 to 2 p.m. shift.
And I just realized I forgot to bring the brochure that we want to update for the File of Life. I'll get that to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
A quick question. This is Commissioner Hanwood. Will there be a flyer available for the expo?
for the Expo manager, Hamer speaking. That is being overseen by the Chamber of Commerce, so they will be sending us their banner and their flyer information when it's completed. Currently, the whole page is also in our guide, so we've been promoting it that way, and as soon as they finalize their flyer, we will be printing some. Should be coming soon.
Thank you.
What day was that again?
That is Saturday, February 10th.
Thank you. Okay, work plan item 2, identify guest speakers for monthly meetings to provide education regarding topics related to adults 50+, and find platforms to disseminate the information to adults 50+. Any updates?
This is Manager Goodsell. I have Amy Stuck scheduled for next month. She's with the Encinitas Village Movement regarding aging in place, and that was a recommendation from Vice Chair Hanwitt. And then in March, Commissioner Koblenz recommended 211.org, so I will look for a presenter in March from 211.
Thank you. Work plan item 3, engage as organizers and volunteers with local community service organizations and the Community and Senior Center. Any updates?
Just a quick update. I've been spending 1 or 2 days over at the lunch program passing out our Senior Citizen Award opportunity. We haven't mentioned that just yet, and the request for commissioners. And I'm finding it's very insightful to spend some time with Commissioner Ling knows. It's a really good way to key into our community. So I will continue to do that for a couple months, and I like it a lot. And the food is really good.
And it's actually a very good group. Some very nice people. Any other updates?
Well, this is Commissioner Hanwitt. I helped, along with Commissioner Ling, to put together the gift baskets for the holiday baskets for the nutrition program. And we also were at the game event, of which I can't remember the name of, but
The Playful Connections.
Playful Connections, correct, which was also a lot of fun.
Okay, and I did my normal computer lab and senior nutrition stuff. So that's always fun. Work plan item 4, continue partnership with the Encinitas Rotary Club and explore other Encinitas Service Club partnerships to recognize or promote the Senior Citizen of the Year and Lifetime Achievement Awards. Do we have some updates?
Commissioner Koblenz, yes, Commissioner Angel and Commissioner Martin are not here, and they asked me to just basically speak to, they've got some very robust marketing for it, and I'm helping in a few ways. Very excited this year. I think the ad hoc committee, those two are very powerful. So if you know anybody that deserves to be nominated, I think we just really want to look in our community. I think this is exactly how we promote our commission and the things that we want. So that's just a quick update. They'll be back next month.
Thank you. Work plan item 5, create new and sustained ongoing intergenerational programming in collaboration with the Encinitas Youth Commission and other service organizations. We do have the Techie Tutors event, which is coming up on February 3rd. We decided to do that as a 3-hour, 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock program in the morning. And flyer is out. The press release has been completed, so hopefully we can get going on that. We are also starting to talk, and this is in collaboration with the grants ad hoc, is I had mentioned earlier where we've been in some discussions with the Boys and Girls Club, the healthy living gardens there, and we're trying to get some traction on working with them to set up an intergenerational garden. And as Commissioner Hamlin mentioned, we did the Playful Connections activity in December. So we're moving right along. It's been, this youth commission has been very, very engaged, which is good to see. Okay, that brings us to work plan item 7, leverage participation in AgeWell San Diego 2. Did I get that right? Did I miss 6? Yep. There we go. Oh, there it is. Work plan item 6, create and sustain new and sustain ongoing programs for adults 50 plus, including computer assistance, Feeling Fit Club, and class offerings at the Encinitas Community and Senior Center, Encinitas Parks, and/or San Diego County Libraries.
Commissioner Koblenz, this is where the wellness gets really exciting. Commissioner Martin and myself have been working with Christy and have some really exciting things planned for our part of it. And besides the Vial of Life, we're going to do a little short survey, and then we're going to have a giveaway for people who want to answer 3 quick questions. I have already received a really nice small emergency kit from the fire department, Station 3. Yes, Station 3. And I'm working on a couple other things that are donations just as a visual to get people. We have a little marquee up. So we're really excited about this event. And I think it will, besides just our table, I guess everybody knows I actually kind of hang out with the Chamber of Commerce, and it will be a wonderful event. So I'm really looking forward to highlighting not only the Senior Commission, but the community center. So that's my update on that one.
This is Manager Goodsell. I wanted to announce that we have a brand-new program called the Walking Club at the Encinitas Community and Senior Center, and it began on Wednesday, January 10th. They depart the center at 9 a.m. and go for a walk for an hour. It started with 13 people present, so it was a good turnout. A really nice group of people. The instructor is Ingrid Johnson, and she has a master's degree in exercise physiology. She began the morning with introductions, and then she followed up with a warm-up, and then they went on their walk. And the participants really seemed to have a really nice, enjoyable time, and had the opportunity to make connections and build some friendships.
And a few of them came into the Senior Center Computer Lab afterwards to tell me about it, so I think they had a good time. Okay, now I can go to work plan item 7. Leverage participation in AgeWell San Diego 2.0 conversations to create recommendations and programs that can directly affect the adult 50-plus community in Encinitas. Any updates? Work plan item 8, explore grant funding opportunities based on community needs and survey results.
I haven't done any of that exploration, but I will say that it was kind of exciting to listen to our speaker talk about the opportunities that could be available through the AARP. So I'm sure we're going to follow through with that.
The wheels are turning.
Yeah.
This is Manager Goodsell. The Encinitas Community and Senior Center did receive $5,000 from the San Diego Senior Community Foundation, and that's how we were able to fund the holiday gift baskets for the nutrition participants, which included non-perishable food and tickets to the San Diego Botanic Gardens. We were also able to fund live entertainment for the seniors and a catered meal at the New Year's Eve dance. And I also want to thank Kathy Ling's Girl Scout troop for making over 200 handmade cards for the baskets. Those were lovely.
Okay, work plan item 9. Develop and conduct a survey for adults 50 plus to gain insight into programs and services for this demographic. So really, this is about the follow-up from the survey.
I think our follow-up is our continued ideas that are being supported and the new ones that come up. So the survey is technically completed, but the data splicing and the implementation is going along very well.
Okay, thank you. And that brings us to work plan item 10, research best practices as it relates to adults 50 plus issues and send letters of support as needed to city council and commissions.
This is Commissioner Hanwitt, and again, I would like to say that I thought the speaker this morning, Israel Hernandez from the AARP, had some really important things to say, and that it's vital information both for us and for the city of Encinitas. And so I would like to make a motion that the commission composes a letter that we can send to the city council and explain a little bit about the process and that it's something that we support.
Okay,
Commissioner Koblenz, I second that motion.
we'll do a vote. So this is a motion to compose a letter to City of Encinitas, City Council, regarding AARP age-friendly networks.
Let the record show that the motion to draft a letter to the City Council passes unanimously with all commissioners voting yes, except Commissioners Angel and Martin, who are absent.
Okay, thank you. That takes us to informational items, agenda item 9. Manager Goodsell, you have an operations report for us?
All right, thank you, Chair Ling. There were 509 meals provided at the senior lunch program in November and 454 in December. There were 209 one-way rides given in November and 176 in December. There was a total of 1,129 non-nutrition participants registered for programs in November and 1,066 in December. This includes all the fee-based classes and free senior programs. We are very pleased to welcome Elise Thorne to the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts team as the new extended part-time senior services coordinator. Her primary responsibilities include the senior nutrition program, assisting with the social dances, and managing the free senior programs. Elise holds a bachelor's degree in psychology and a minor in art from San Diego State University. She is skilled in customer service, patient care, assistant teaching, and supervising activities as a recreation leader for kids' camps. Additionally, Elise is a certified yoga instructor and an art enthusiast. In her spare time, she enjoys painting and being creative with art projects. Next time you're at the Encinitas Community and Senior Center, please swing by and say hello to her. You'll find her in the lunchroom or in the senior office. Mark your calendars for upcoming events, including a Winter Wonderland social dance on Friday, January 19th at 2 p.m. And That's Amore themed party on Wednesday, January 24th at 11:40. The City of Encinitas is accepting applications for appointment to the Senior Commission. Application forms must be completed online from the city's website, and all applicants must be registered voters of the City of Encinitas. We have 2 application deadlines. The deadline for incumbents wishing to reapply is Thursday, January 18th at 5 p.m., and the deadline for all other applicants is Thursday, January 25th at 5 p.m. The following commissioners have terms that end on March 1st, which is Commissioner Farley and Commissioner Angel, and then, of course, we have the vacant position. The remaining commissioners' terms end on March 1st, 2026. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Manager Hamer, you have a departmental update for us?
Yes, I do. Happy New Year to start. Great to be back and meeting together to put brains and ideas ahead for 2024. The department is doing a continuing recruitment for arts and recreation instructors. For anyone interested or has that skill, the website is encinitasca.gov/instructor. So we're actively recruiting for that adults 50 plus spaces that I know we want to fill. Recreation is also recruiting for 2 recreation coordinator positions. One is for Seaside Day Camp Director, and the other is customer service. We encourage you, if you know any of your family, friends, neighbors, adults 50 plus are a great fit for these part-time positions. A lot of people retire and still want to be working. Please encourage them to apply. We also want to give you an update of our enhanced department quarterly activity guide, Explore Encinitas. We added new branding and layout and did more marketing outreach. But for the first day of registration in the 50 plus category, we doubled our enrollment. So it went from 145 to 370, and registration revenue came in doubling as well from, it was 4,400 to 13,278. So that's quite remarkable. And that was just the first day of registration. So hopefully that will continue on. And we're working for spring to be even better and more vibrant, to really engage our community, to take a look inside and explore all that we have to offer. Music by the Sea is January 26th. That's held at the library. Tickets are $20 in advance or $25 at the door. It's a monthly series in partnership with the San Diego Music Society. We also host a Parents' Night Out that will be new this year on Valentine's Day. It is $20 and 6 to 8 p.m. so families can drop off their kiddos, and we at the community center will entertain, engage, and keep them happy so their parents can have some alone time. So if you know any families that might benefit from that, please share. And as the library had already stated, Art Night is March 9th. That's 5:30 to 8:30, and art is featured, City Hall, Community Center, and the library. And that exhibition is being put up right now, so make sure to take a look at that. Also, the egg hunt, spring egg hunt, is March 30th, Saturday. Please save the date. We always appreciate when commissioners can come join and assist us in helping to facilitate that event. And most importantly, I want to share for you to save the date. Tuesday, April 30th, we're going to have our volunteer appreciation breakfast. Those details and plans are still being organized, but we do have over 150 VIP volunteers now. And as Manager Goodsill had shared, one of those volunteers is leading that walking club, which was a huge hit. And I do encourage and invite any of you that would like to join, because there's different walkers at different paces. So I did join last week, but there were some people near the back that I was able to help, carry to the front. But I think anybody who can jump in to help will make a difference, especially with 13 people and different paces. They were so enthusiastic, they wanted to start planning some trail hikes as well. So to go beyond the community center, they want to explore trails together. And I do think the more volunteers we have to help with the different pacing of hikers or walkers would make a big difference. So we encourage you to save that date. Please join us on April 30th. And if you can jump in and help volunteer, that would be a great asset as well. Thank you.
Thank you. We are at agenda item 10. Commissioner member initiated agenda items. Do we have any commission member initiated agenda items today?
There are none.
And now we are at agenda item 11. Future agenda items added by commission members. Commissioners, are there any agenda items we would like to add to next time that are not covered by the work plan?
Commissioner Koblenz, I don't know if this is appropriate now, but when do we start talking about next year's work plan?
March, I think.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to agenda item 12, commission reports. This is the roundtable for all the commissioners. I'd like to ask all of you if you have announcements or reports to add, and I'll start with Commissioner Koblenz and work our way towards me.
Commissioner Koblenz, yes, I do. Pursuant to our speaker today, there is this thing called point-in-time count, which is February 25th, and it's significant for so many reasons. It does count those that are unhoused. You heard him mention, and the new stats are 55% in San Diego County are seniors that are experiencing homelessness, most of them for the first time. So they are a little short of volunteers. So if you go to the Regional Task Force on Homelessness, our Regional Task Force Homelessness, there's a place to sign in. I meant to get the actual QR code, but I was late. You can pick different areas. Obviously, for me, I'm doing Encinitas, but I think not only does it help with the point-in-time count, which I think for all of us are very clear, it's significant, it really does provide, for me, the firsthand experience to remember really what it looks like. It's very humbling. So if you have it is at 4 o'clock in the morning, and that's okay. You get coffee and donuts, but again, I can't tell you how much it does impress upon me the need to work a little harder, jump a little higher to solve some of this.
Thank you. Commissioner Farley?
Oh, and my only update is that before the holiday, Commissioner Hanwitt and Chairman Ling, we met with Boys and Girls Club representatives to discuss the intergenerational garden. So I'm encouraged that we're moving in the right direction. And then today, obviously, with the AARP speaker on the grant opportunities, he specifically spoke about garden boxes, and that was something that we were actually looking to explore in funding. So it looks like we're in the step in the right direction. So I'm really encouraged about moving forward with that program.
Commissioner Hanwitt?
Yeah, I attended the San Diego County Housing Blueprint webinar on December 21st, which was just an overview of what the county is doing currently and what they're planning to do as far as trying to increase low-income housing and availability to people in need in San Diego County.
Okay. I don't have anything else to add to that. I did want to say, as Manager Hamer reminded us, Happy New Year, Happy 2024. I hope this is going to be a really good year for all of us. Oh, one more?
Oops, sorry, Commissioner Koblenz. The City Council meeting tomorrow night is having a discussion on home equity, housing for equity. So I think it's, again, keeping along those same lines. I really encourage everybody to show up for the City Council meetings. It gives us not only education, it reminds us how well our city is doing.
Thank you. Okay, with that, the January 16th, 2024 Senior Citizen Commission meeting is hereby adjourned at 3:07 p.m. Thank you, everybody.